All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So, Julian Lennon has covered a very famous song that his father recorded a number of years ago. It's called Imagine. I would consider that to be John Lennon's signature song, for better or worse. Actually, even though it's not his song technically, I would vote for Twist and Shout. That would be my favorite John Lennon vocal performance and the spirit of rock and roll, and a guy who is singing absolutely in a range and in a style that I know pretty much screwed up his vocal cords for at least a day or two, right? You gotta love Twist and Shout. Imagine, yeah, not so much. Imagine there's no earth. It's easy. Again, if you continue to cheer on, right, this whole thing, you're sending money, you're sending weapons. This is, again, for the whole stand up for Ukraine thing. Julian Lennon, who's obviously a vocal dead ringer for his dad, although, a little different, but again, he's in the same gene pool. He's swimming around with John Lennon in the same gene pool, and that makes, of course, perfect sense. He's also got help from Nuno Bettencourt from Extreme playing acoustic guitar. Apparently, he had a couple of acoustic guitar licks left over from More Than Words. So, is the song any good? Is the cover any? Yes, it's good. Go listen to it, and then you can, put in your 2 cents or whatever. I'm just kind of annoyed by this whole, we're going to do this for Ukraine. It's a one-off thing. I mean, years ago, people would ask Julian Lennon, hey, you ever think of doing this song that your father did? Or, hey, maybe you should cover a Beatles song. And he's covered a couple here and there over the years. It's not like he's done zero, but he wasn't trying to live off of his father's legacy. This is another guy who was trying to push the envelope. The first album he did, obviously, the record label probably said, look, you want to get on the radio with your father not being able to record music anymore because he's no longer here, you're going to sound a lot like your dad. And he did. Velout was like one of those songs, you listen to it and you're like, whoa, this is intentional. A lot of us thought it was leftover music from John, and it ended up being new music from Julian. The record label actually had me fooled for a couple of days until they told me who it really was, because I remember when this 12-inch single came out and the label was kind of mysterious, but I knew it was from Atlantic Records, and I plopped it down and I said, I wonder if there's more unreleased John Lennon music out there, and turned out to be his son Julian. So it was pretty cool. Anyway, the way this is being reported, it's the typical Julian Lennon, the older son of John, has shared his first ever public performance of his late father's classic song, Imagine, as part of the Global Citizen Organization's recently launched. Do you love that? Global Citizen Organization. It's called Stand Up for Ukraine campaign. Julian posted a video on his official YouTube channel of him singing the 1971 peace anthem. It's funny, it's a peace anthem, but we're all encouraged to basically raise money so we can ship weapons, like, military hardware to Ukraine. I don't know how that's promoting peace, but, this is where I throw a wrench into everything, right? In a message accompanying the video, Julian writes, the war on Ukraine is an unimaginable tragedy. As a human and as an artist, I felt compelled to respond in the most significant way I could. So for the first time ever, I publicly performed my dad's song, Imagine. He continues, why now after all these years? I had always said that the only time I would ever consider singing Imagine would be if it was the end of the world, but also because his lyrics reflect our collective desire for peace worldwide, because within this song, we're transported to a space where love and togetherness become our reality, if but for a moment in time. The song reflects the light at the end of the tunnel, that we are all hoping for. Very articulate. I will say this, very articulate stuff. As a result of the ongoing murderous violence, millions of innocent families have been forced to leave the comfort of their homes to seek asylum elsewhere. I'm calling on world leaders and everyone who believes in the sentiment of Imagine to stand up for refugees everywhere. Please advocate and donate from the heart. As previously reported, Global Citizens Stand Up for Ukraine saw a wide variety of music stars taking to social media on Friday and directing their attention to Ukraine in the wake of Russia's ongoing military invasion of the country. So I guess if I'm going to be fair here, he mentions the refugees caused by the situation. Okay. But again, I'm concerned that the money itself, if you're donating to this cause, I'm just worried that the money isn't going to get to the refugees. And people have been, the number one thing that's been advocated for here is more weapons for Ukraine so they can really fight a losing battle. Now, if this is just humanitarian in its approach, no harm, no foul. It's a good thing because war stinks. And the song itself was written as a peace anthem. I don't agree with all of the lyrics in the song. In fact, some of those lyrics really grate on me because it's very utopian and it doesn't really recognize how people, organize their lives. There are no countries. How about, stoking a nuclear conflict instead of there are no countries? How about there's no earth? I mean, we've got to be careful. And what people should be talking about is diplomacy, because there is a way to end this. But Ukraine, the United States, and all of these NATO countries, they're not really focused on ending it. What they're focused on really is financing it. They want to finance it from the Ukrainian end of it. And I don't know if that's a good idea. I would say, you know what? Why don't you negotiate, see if we can stop this, and then, then we can send money to rebuild the country, because that's probably what's going to happen or need to happen next. So again, not a bad version. Nuno Betancourt playing guitar is a very interesting combination with Julian Lennon. And I've always hoped that Julian would try to make some albums that sounded more Beatlesque. I mean, he's got every right to do it, being the son of one of the great musicians of all time. That's John Lennon. I prefer John Lennon in the early Beatles days rather than his Imagine 70s period. I prefer the twist and shout John Lennon, where he pretty much destroys his vocal cords and he's trying to be either Elvis or Rick Nelson or something. I think that's pretty cool in those days, because he was definitely the yin to Paul's yang. And in the early days, it was all about just trying to be rock and roll. And yeah, they were a bit of a boy band, but in those days, you kind of expect it to be a little bit more organic, which it was. In today's world, it's more like, I don't know I have no idea who the latest boy band was. I kind of lost track after like NSYNC. I didn't really pay it, like the Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees. That shows you that I really haven't been paying attention lately to the music scene currently, or maybe boy bands don't exist anymore. I don't know. But the Beatles may have been the very first boy band. Maybe. I don't know. I guess it depends on your perspective. So in any event, check out the song, and it's up to you. If you think you should give money to this cause, that's what this is all about. It's to raise awareness and to raise money. And for me, I'd rather see homeless veterans here in the United States get the money. That's who I'd like to see get it. I'm tired of hearing about wars and rumors of wars. I think we really need to focus on ourselves and our country and our border and our sovereignty. Those are the things that I think most Americans really care about. But celebrities, not so much.